Hello everyone. I think we started now. Just make sure everything is okay. I doubt much people are here for now, since I gave little notification and it's definitely something I don't usually do. But yeah, welcome if you're joining us, and if you're seeing this offline, definitely welcome and hello from every part of the world where you are. In this video, we'll be looking at the hair geometry node and using it to create hairs. We have a couple of images here that we'll be trying to recreate. The goal with this is to kind of push our limit, learn new techniques, and kind of understand creating hair with geometry nodes. So this are the two. We'll be trying to create those two hairs, and finally we'll be ending with this one. I think we'll probably start from this one. Is something more easier. Um, yeah. So I'll just make sure everything is good. Okay, so we are live. And I will just share this link some more. Be patient if you're watching this offline. Probably I will edit it and cut out this part. Um, yeah. Hey. Okay, so we're good. Let's start a Blender. So if you've downloaded the Hairbrick add-on previously, if you had a copy, you should go ahead and check out the new updated version. It's pretty awesome. The new update is totally like a different add-on, so you should definitely get it. Before you use it, you want to uninstall the previous one. So you go to add-on, you uncheck it and remove it, restart Blender, and install the new version. So that's way nothing is going to kind of be problematic from you using it. Okay. So once you have that installed, you can basically start. So let's start with a live demo just to show you the updates before we jump right into creating the hairs. This is the UI. You might notice a different feel from it, but yeah, so we can create new hair. You can rename it anything you want. And if you click on this comb, it can allow you go right into the sculpt mode where you can start grooming. And we can use the density here and basically what Blender gives you with the new hair system. The new great update now is right here in the sculpt mode, you can just hit on plus and it's adding new hair, and you just can keep sculpting. And at the same time, you can easily just switch and keep sculpting. If you don't want to switch, you can press Alt Q to cycle through hairs. So this is one that kind of makes it really amazing for like if you're on the go and you want to just keep working fast. This would definitely assist you with that. Another cool feature is the ability to join and combine hair. This is something Blender doesn't give you by default. So you can select two hairs and just join them. I'm gonna give you a warning because if you have like modifiers in each of the hair, it will probably you will lose them. So this is a way for you to just join them, and there you go. So you have it combined, and you can just groom them at like one hair system. We have a couple of more updates to like duplicating the hair. You can have it like this. Maybe if you need this for a particular purpose, but you oh, sorry about that. Just remove this. And you can duplicate new, and it's going to duplicate the hair with any modifier already existing, and that's pretty cool. Um, There are a bunch of new additions to the hair modifiers which you can add, and just awesome stuff overall. Some fixes, some changes, some updates to the existing ones. One of my favorite ones is the adding, like, if you have a braided hair and you want to quickly add like a ribbon at the bottom, you can do this. And let's say we want this to be braided hair, so I'll call this braided. Let's check if people are here. I think chat is disabled. Let's see if I can enable it. This is my first live stream, so and I think, let's see, hello everyone. Trying to enable the chat, which is probably important for a live stream. I'll go to settings, community. Anyways, you can probably, I don't know if you can leave a comment or something, but it sucks. I think we can do that. Anyways, maybe we would take a little break later and I'll try to fix that. But for now, we can just keep going. Okay, so let's say you want to add like a braided hair, and you want to add a nice UV sphere at the bottom. So we have this braided hair. So this is one of the preset, and this is one new thing which you can use to toggle, close all the modifiers all at once. So we have a nice braided hair now, and we want to add this sphere at the bottom there. So we can duplicate this, retaining all the modifiers, so we can see it here, and I would just delete all of this because it works better if, depending on the point of the curve, that's how it would generate the custom stuff. So we can go to add hair accessories, we can select this, and there you go. You have the ability to kind of move it along the side. We can scale it, create something cool. If we duplicate this again, we can move the next one, create something like that. Yeah. So if you want to groom it, it's not going to follow along because they're not sharing the same properties. So we have this as braided, and we can come here and get the name of the hair curve. So the hair property for this is the braided 0.5. So we can just copy it. And as long as they share it, when we groom this, it's just gonna follow nicely. Okay, so the overall goal with the hair brick add-on, it's not to replace the new system which Blender gives us, or create something so out of this world and make things different. It's to generate a very usable workflow for artists, because the current method is quite slow, especially if you're not very technical. That's why this video is called Use the Hair System Like an Artist. Basically, you want a system where you can come, click on things, get the job done, and move on. So this is what this does for you. And with that, let's start creating our characters. I will start a new scene. And let's load in the models we're using for today. So we need in this head model, that loading, and then get like a female model. Okay. So just gonna arrange them. Okay. So we'll hide the female model for now and work on the male guy, the male reference. So what we have going here, so we have a nice, somewhat like a buzz cut, but with this here. I made a tutorial a while back regarding like understanding the flow of your hair before you get into kind of grooming it. Yeah, so we can break this into 3 segments. So we have the main one, which is the stylized one with nice flows and everything, and then we have the fade that fades into the beard, and so that's what we're trying to recreate. So let's get started with that. So if you want to using the new hair system, you need to do a couple of things. You need to make sure the UVs are set. So I'm just going to repack this, and we can see that we have our UV here, UV map. Next, now you can just go ahead and create your hair brick. So the hair brick is just like a tool to make the whole process simple. This is still something you can do for yourself. So what you'll be learning from this is not like unique to what you can achieve with the hair brick add-on. Like I mentioned, my goal is to kind of just simplify the process and make it more artist friendly, something you can just get in quickly. So you could actually just select your mesh and do add new empty hair, and it adds your empty hair as you would do usually. But you can manage it with a hair brick, where you select your object, and you can see that here. You can rename it. So we can call this hair top. Okay, and there are 2 ways which you can generate hair. You can use going right into the sculpt mode for the hair, which you could switch here, and we can grab the density or add brush and go to either to the tool or right clicking here and bringing up the header. So I have mine in the shortcut, so I'll be switching from it. Okay, so we can grab the density brush and just draw it. So that's one way to do it, or you can actually generate it. So you just select it and click on the hair modifier, and we can select generate hair curves. So we select this as the head. With the older versions, people said sometimes it doesn't appear. You want to check that your character has a good UV, and the UV name, the surface UV map has to match. So if you call this male UV, this has to also be male UV. If also you try it and it's still not showing, probably the scale of your model, it might be quite big, and you might need to increase the density. By default is set to 1. So if you have the right scale, it should show nicely, but if not, you might want to increase this so you can get that. So ideally you want to scale your object to be right. Okay, so once you have this, you can click on new, and we can call this top hair underscore male, and we can leave it at 1K since we're not looking to create fine details. We just want like a broad surface area. So it doesn't matter now with this new update if you have this selected or not. just switch this. So it doesn't matter if you have the hair selected or anything. It's matter now with the 1.2 update that you can just click on the brush and it immediately goes into um, the the texture mode. So we can, right now we cannot see it because the base color is black, so we can switch this to studio to give us some specularity, and you can play with different light preset here to be able to see it well, or we can use matcap and change this to red. Okay, that's no help. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this one, and based off your reference you can just paint it now. So let's turn on asymmetry. It will work faster. I'll set this to 1. So you want to draw out the area surface where you want that to be generated. So once you have that, you can play with the length. So what do we have here? So let's say 0.1. That 0.1 is good, and we can go ahead and add more density and then apply it. But before we apply it, in the texture, you could go, if you want to save this image out, you can go to your, do Shift F10 and come here, and we go to image and save as. You can save it out, but if you're kind of working, if you're in a flow and probably forget, you can come to textures. Sorry, we go to texture slot, save all images. So this will be saved within the blend file, and of course you have to save your blend file. So the images will be saved within the blend file, and it's more ideal. I mean, it works, and then later you can save that out individually, especially if you're kind of working in a team and want to send it out for the next department. Okay, so once you're done, we can go ahead and apply the modifier. Save this. So now we can select this, and the add-on is basically smarter now. So if you have multiple hairs, if you select it, it's going to select it here. So it kind of saves you a lot of clicking. Okay, now we can go right into the grooming and grab the comb, and we can turn on asymmetry. So as you know, of the collision, we need collision. So you can use Blender's collision. I found it's a bit problematic, especially for shorter hairs. As you can see, it's just acting crazy. So let's try applying the rotation and scale. So still nothing. So we have a solution for that, of course. So since you can see the hair brick modifier in the sculpt mode, you can basically add modifiers through the sculpt mode. So, and let's say we want to trim the hair, you can just trim them. If you disable overlay, you can see the effect right here in the sculpt mode. So we are enabling the collision and setting the collision object to our character here. So we can now just groom. And you can play with the offset and then what you need. And it's also something you can apply if ever you want to do that. Change this to 0.5. At this point, I will turn off X symmetry. And I'm looking at the reference on the other screen. I'm just trying to match it as close as I can. Okay, So once you're happy, we can move on to the next step. We want to add like children hair to give it more volume. So same thing, you make sure the UV surface name is the same, and we add the hair. So we need the map, so the map we created earlier. So just reusing that one top mail. You can create a new one if you want, and now you can just play with the density. So this is based off the interpolated method of the Blender Foundation created, but did some tweak to it because the default one had some stuff where you need to a very high value to get like decent looking density of hair. So it kind of makes the computer slow down. So we did some changes to it to make it more to get the density very quickly, and you don't need crazy amount of numbers to achieve that. Okay, so we have children hair. So we need a couple of things. So we want to add some clumping. So for clumping, we can just add the clump, and this is it. You can play with the distance. I want to play with the shape a bit. And okay, so one cool feature why this is awesome is, let's say we want a certain type of clump for certain areas and certain, so I want smaller clumps here in the, if I grab the annotation tool, I want smaller clumps here and larger clumps. The way to do that is pretty easy, so we'll just enable mask. So we can call this top head clump 1 front. Okay, we'll just use front. Okay, and we can paint that. So we want it to affect this part. As you see it live. So it's just affecting this part. So you can tweak it. So we're having larger clumps there, and we can duplicate this and then invert the image. And so for this, we'll have smaller clumps. Okay, so we can go ahead and call this back clumps, front clumps. So if you notice, we have this number. These are basically the users of the particular hair modifier. So if you have multiple objects or different hair systems that you want to share the same parameters of that modifier, you just need to make sure they are both sharing the same name, and then it will for example, if I set this to front clumps, you can see the user is set to 2, and it will be sharing this, the same settings. So as you can see, it doesn't have that invert image. If we set it to back clumps, it's not unique modifier. So you can have multiple modifiers using the same modifiers for like children, interpolated stuff. So if you want to kind of control them which one value, that's one way to do that. Okay, so we can keep moving now. So let's kind of break it up, or let's try to get some coiliness. So for that, we can just add coily. So can play with certain values. So I'm going to start with the frequency. I set this to 2, and we want to move this up. And this is another cool update with cool new feature with this update. You can do move. So we want to move it after the interpolate. So we want to move um, below, then you can select hair clump. So before the interpolated, and there you get it. You get the it moves and adjusts, and of course the effects, since it's layer based, kind of influence each other. So we can start playing with all of it. So I think I'm going to move it um, below the front clump. Or you can do the usual move down. Okay. Um, I think I'll reduce the clump a bit. In fact, I'll do 0.5. It's not looking as I want. Okay, so we can just play with the distance to give it more hair to add the clumps to. Okay, we're there now. And for the front clump, we can set it to 1 and play with the shape to 0.5, 0.7. Okay, so let's do some grooming. Just adjust them slightly. And you can always reduce the amount of the viewport display to give you more control. If you feel it's lagging with other modifiers, so you can adjust that. Okay. So we have it looking like this. And let's see if we add more children hair or interpolated hair. 50. And yeah, it's coming together. So for now, I'm just going to leave it at 25. So let's add other hair. But we can add like some noise to kind of beat it up, because from the reference which I'm looking at, this is what we have. So I'm gonna add like a noise offset. It's gonna add some noisiness, of course. So raise the power to like 2. And break it up a bit. And you can increase the amount of hair it influences. So if you set it to 0.8, affects more hair. Just to give it some like a wet feeling, we can add hair clump. Let's see without adding that if clump, it kind of brought everything together nicely. So I'm going to reduce the distance so we kind of get little chunks. 8. Okay, so I think I'll leave it here for now. And if you notice your scene is slowing down or anything, you can apply certain modifiers that you feel might be slowing things down. Or for the like interpolated, you can reduce it like 0.3. Okay, let's move on to the next hair. So the next one are going to be the transition hair. Um, before we get into the buzz cut, so we can call this side hair. So for that, we can just draw them ourselves, and we'll turn on asymmetry, do like some testing, a bit too long, or you could actually just draw them. Go here and get the trim 0.1, so you can kind of see them, and we apply this. If we go back now and want to add more, we can just say copy the shape and length, and I'll just follow. Okay. I think we still need to trim it a bit, but before that, let's add like the collision so it doesn't go through the body. If you're joining us, this is the hair we're trying to recreate, including the beards and everything. Okay, so we can grab the comb brush and just start combing it. Is it penetrated? I don't think so. So you can always increase the hair offset. So we are trying to create a nice transition from this fuller hair. So I'm going to grab this puff brush, puff it out a bit. Okay, and I want to trim it slightly. I'll apply that trim and probably use the shrink brush. And for this, I sometimes prefer the project because it does a better job with that. You notice we can see some weird looking hair. So for this, you can grab delete. Just delete the unnecessary ones. And then we get back to combing the hair. Okay. So for this, we'll not be using interpolated. We can probably use the duplicate hair curve to kind of add some hairs. Probably not so much for now. And let's grab hair noise. And excuse me. So we have noise too. Probably not. So this gives you the ability to kind of have a very interactive workflow, or like an artist basically. Um, you can really kind of have many options without having to like be a geometry node god. So if you want to reduce random hair, you can grab the reduce hair and kind of play with it if you feel they're too much. I'm gonna leave it like as this for now. Kind of seeing it might be problematic. I'm just going to disable this. So let's sorry. So if you want to select your hair, sometimes this might be confusing, the spinning, because for example, if I select this hair, I mean it's parented to this, so it's always identify as that. But so if I select this cube, And you can see currently we can't see anything, but if we have this pin, even if we select this cube, it's always going to remain there. And if we click on add, it will sometimes give us an error, and I hope in this case it's not trying to um, crash, but I think it smartly kind of selected the right object and did the right thing. But yeah, sometimes you might get error if you're not selecting the right object and try to add another hair. So just adding hair, and yeah. So for the next one, we're going to paint it. So we can call this um, F8. And we'll grab the generate hair, make sure we have the right UV from this. I'll select this object, set the length to 0.02, and let's paint the head. So we'll call this side hair. Let's go male. Okay, so we can just basically paint out the surface area where we want this to be placed. So when something coming in like this. Okay. Um, so probably we don't want it to kind of go really deep here. So we don't create any sort of weird look in the hair. So we can go ahead and save this image. The same thing we can find right here. So once you have that, just checking the live stream to make sure we are still good. Okay, so hi guys, hello. I see we have like 16 live viewers. Thank you. I don't know, this is kind of like a new thing I don't usually do, but I appreciate it. You guys being here. Okay, so let's basically add more density to the hair. Regarding the comment, I'm trying to enable the comment. I'd love to interact with you guys, but I don't know, not working for mine. Yeah, probably I'll try to figure that out next time. So I'm just gonna fill out that corner that failed to get painted. This tool I'm using is called Hair Brick, and it's on Blender Marketplace. So if you're interested in using that, you should check it out there. Okay. So you guys will be seeing how you can create fade so easy with this. But before that, let's kind of give it some flow. So I'm going to grab the comb brush, get asymmetry. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to apply this first. I don't know, my mind disappeared. It's telling me now. Okay, so once you apply it, it can become groomable, something you can groom. Okay, so we are just going to kind of groom this. So if you're having hard time seeing this with the geometry node, you can always turn on the overlays, and it makes it easier for you to see. So I'm just kind of grooming this and looking at the reference. From the reference, we can see it has no hair yet, but we want to kind of create that flow first. And once we're happy with it, we can kind of apply effects on it. I'm going to grab the density and make sure we have this all enabled. Let's fill it up on parts that look patchy. Okay, I think we're good. Let's see how the transition is. Probably we want to kind of puff out this part. I'm gonna set this to like 6. So if you're not getting the effect you want, you can always increase the number. Okay. So I know from the reference, this is not really, transition is not like the smooth, clean, low haircut one, but I want to make it look nice. So I'm gonna add like a coily hair to help with that. Not this coily, I want coily one to blend that foundation coily hair. So yeah, so we can use mask to isolate regions where we want to influence. So I want to make this part of the hair very coily. Set guide 0.03. This is just basically showing like how much area surface you want to influence, and that can determine that. Gonna set the frequency to like 5 and move the collision below it. So take care of any object that went inside. And I think the factor doesn't have to be so crazy. Okay, liking how it's looking. Anyways, let's do the fading for now. So for the fading, we're going to use uh, mask trim. This is an image-based trimming. It's the blending, the fall off of the color plays a factor in it, which makes it more useful for fades. So I'm gonna grab new and call this fade side. Okay, so the default color is black, so we'll leave it as that. And then we'll grab this. But before that, let's add interpolated hair. And we'll be using the one we created earlier. I think we forgot the name we used for it. Probably fade. Okay, so that's the image we used. Oh, this is how it's looking with the interpolated hair. I'm gonna set this to 30 for now. For the mask trim, we're gonna move it down and enable it. So for it, we can just grab in the texture mode. You can set it to a nice fall off, so I think this will work. And yeah, so also helps to turn off the occlude, which you can find. Yeah. Anyways, So we can just drag this, and you kind of see the effect um, replicating this. So for the amount of the if for the effect of the fade, you can control that through different factors. You can play with this fall off. If we increase the interpolated amount to like 100, you can see the effect it's creating. And you can also control it through this parameter. We missed this part. Okay. And maybe overall we can just add a noise offset. Set the amount to everything. Move these up. Hopefully in the future we can have like a drag upload like what we have in the modifiers where you can easily just drag stuff. So we are working on that. Okay, so this is what we have for now. Let's increase the children hair. So set this to 1. And set the density to like 50 for rendering. And then for this side here, going to set the children to 120. This for now. Probably 150. Should get more things there. Okay, but before we start any rendering, let's see what this adds. That's much. But before we do any rendering, we want to set the radius because now if we render it to be like really big, so we want to play with the radius. So you can go here. By the way, if you notice your hair is looking low poly, it's here, so you need to increase the subdivisions. So I'm going to change this to strip, and then yeah. So for the top hair, we can use set radius, hair radius here, and then for the hair fade, a bit slow now because I kind of increased the number crazy amount. I reduced it. Currently working on my laptop. I recently relocated to the Philippines for work. I shipped my stuff and it's taking longer than expected. So I'm just using the mobile system to just keep doing things. But yeah, it's been going okay so far. So for the hair fade, we are going to use the hair radius, and we're going to be using the same hair radius as the top one. So we can cut, this is hair radius. Look for that here. So they share the same settings. So oh, okay, okay. Kind of went crazy, yeah. Let's give it a second. Okay. Set this to 0.04. And set this to 0.2. So this affects the uniform scale on 0.6. Okay. Need to change the top hat. Okay, we're good now. Can set material for this and call this a material. Give a viewport color of black. This should copy it. So for the viewport, we can increase the amount to 1% of it. Yeah, so let's give it some test renders. See, set that up. I'm just reducing the viewport amount. And let's add camera. Change the focal length. Something like 120. And let's set this to somewhat human color. And for this hair, we'll give it like a black material. We'll give it one test render. Let's see how that's looking. Oh, yeah, we have some hidden objects that we need to disable. Yeah, we didn't disable this hair. Okay, we're doing that now. This is how it's looking. I think we really need to reduce this some more. So let's see the comparison. Yeah, I think I need to play with this. So you can still edit the nodes even after you've created them to create your own custom effect. So we have this max stream, and I think it's kind of flipped other way. So get reverse curve. And can invert this image with a color ramp. So we can do is that flip color. Yeah, so it's now because earlier on it was not acting as it should. Yeah, so you guys will be getting this update to this node. At least I will provide an option to kind of flip it because it's a very simple node. So we need to fix that. I will update it and then send the fix. I will update it on Blender Marketplace. So yeah, it's working as expected. Yeah, I definitely need to troubleshoot the nodes some more. Let's see. Okay, that seems to fix that. Okay, so we're good. Yeah, so you guys forget. uh, yeah, I actually love these changes. Makes sense because this, if it was what was happening was it was trimming the hair, but from right out from the bottom, it was trimming it from the top, and yeah, so that's problematic, and so it works. So we can play with set this to 0.4, so we get more hair. 0.6. So now we can give it a render. Now it's not showing. Boy. Um, yeah, I mean we can see the effect on the viewport, but yeah, we have to rework on the stream node. But overall, you guys kind of got the idea, and uh, things never goes as planned, no? uh, yeah, so you want to look at the add-on as two separate entities, the UI and all the cool features it brings, and the individual nodes, which are very artistically driven, basically. And so it's from actual using a project that I come up with these ideas and like getting inspirations from existing nodes, like one Blender Foundation provides, which is pretty standard, so it's included. But for like stuff like this, mm, probably not as entertaining just to watch me fix it. Okay, so and 0.8. I think we're almost there. Okay, we'll give it a render using my CPU. Let's see, overview. Okay, so we're good. And you can see the effect we're able to create. We just need to turn up the uniform scale. Okay, so now we save that. I think we need more hair particles for the top hair, and grab that and add. So for this, I think we'll end up using like 100. And let's give that a render. Okay, so yeah, it's coming together nicely. Okay, so probably not enough time for us to kind of keep going for the next hairstyles. Maybe that can be saved for another live stream. That'll be it for this tutorial. I hope this was a nice way to kind of show you ways of grooming with geometry nodes, and especially using the hair brick add-on. Kind of makes things easier and fun to set up for individual artists. Too bad we couldn't have like the comments. So definitely I will look into why that was not why that wasn't the case. Yeah, so thank you so much for your time and allow me to steal a bit of your Friday. It's about 10:22 p.m. right here. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for now. Bye bye for now. Bye bye and see you guys next time.